Modi's Israel visit sees tensions over Israel's Supreme Court chief's exclusion. UN chief decries global rise of rule of force. US tariff turmoil leaves Treasury markets dazed. South Korea, Brazil agree to expand cooperation in key minerals trade. Iranian students protest for second day at some universities. Ahead of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's proposed visit to Israel, domestic politics in Israel has been unsettled by a dispute over protocol at the Israeli parliament. According to a report by Press Trust of India, Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid has warned that opposition lawmakers may boycott Prime Minister Modi's address to the Knesset unless the country's Chief Justice is invited to attend, in line with long-standing convention. Prime Minister Modi is expected to arrive in Israel on the 25th of February for a two-day visit. During the trip, he is scheduled to address the Knesset and hold meetings with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Isaac Herzog. Lapid has insisted that Yitzhak Amit be formally invited to the Knesset session. He said the opposition does not want to boycott the Indian leader, but warned that excluding the Chief Justice would create an embarrassing situation. Lapid told lawmakers that a public boycott of the Supreme Court president during such a high-profile visit would be damaging, adding that the opposition does not want Prime Minister Modi addressing a half-empty chamber. Human rights are under full-scale attack around the world, Antonio Guterres warned on Monday, saying the most powerful countries are often leading the erosion. Speaking at the opening of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Guterres said the rule of law is increasingly being replaced by the rule of force. He said the assault on human rights is happening openly and deliberately, rather than in secret, and is being driven by those with the greatest power. While not naming specific governments, the UN chief expressed strong concern over Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine, saying more than 15,000 civilians have been killed in 4 years of fighting. He said it was long overdue to end the bloodshed. Guterres also highlighted what he described as blatant violations of human rights and international law in the occupied Palestinian territory, warning that the two-state solution was being dismantled in plain sight. The international community cannot allow it to happen, he said. The UN Secretary-General warned that the erosion of rights is not limited to war zones. He said human rights are being deliberately rolled back worldwide, with mass suffering often ignored or justified. The U.S. Supreme Court's decision to strike down President Donald Trump's tariffs has injected new uncertainty into U.S. trade policy, government finances, and global markets, analysts say. Rather than easing concerns, the ruling has raised fresh questions about tariff refunds, future levies, and the stability of U.S. fiscal policy. The court did not rule on whether tariffs already collected must be refunded, leaving a potential gap of around $170 billion in government finances. Markets reacted cautiously. The US dollar weakened in Asian trading on Monday, particularly against safe haven currencies such as the yen and the Swiss franc. US Treasury markets also showed signs of strain, as investors weighed the implications for inflation, debt issuance, and long-term borrowing costs. President Trump has moved quickly to impose replacement tariffs, but those measures are lower and temporary, set at 15% for up to 150 days. While that may ease short-term price pressures, analysts warn it adds to policy uncertainty. Economists at ING said the ruling has revived risks of trade escalation, particularly as European leaders respond to Washington's shifting tariff stance. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung held summit talks in Seoul on Monday, with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, as the two leaders agreed to deepen cooperation across a wide range of sectors. Both sides said they plan to elevate bilateral ties to a strategic partnership and work together to support stability on the Korean peninsula. President Lee said lasting peace is best achieved by reducing the need for conflict. At a joint press conference, the leaders oversaw the signing of 10 memorandums of understanding covering trade and industrial policy, critical minerals, the digital economy, including artificial intelligence, agriculture, health and biotechnology, small business cooperation, and joint efforts to combat cybercrime, narcotics, and other transnational threats. President Lee earlier said the two countries have adopted a 4-year action plan, outlining steps to expand cooperation in areas such as strategic minerals, defense and space industries, and food security. Brazil is South Korea's largest trading partner in South America, making economic ties a central focus of the talks. President Lula said Brazil holds significant rare earth reserves and large nickel deposits, and expressed hope for increased investment from South Korean companies. Student protests continued for a second day across several Iranian universities on Sunday, leading to clashes, according to local media reports and social media footage, as Iran faces mounting internal pressure amid heightened tensions with the United States. The unrest comes as Washington increases its military presence in the region while seeking a nuclear agreement with Tehran. Iranian state television broadcast footage showing what it described as individuals posing as students attacking pro-government demonstrators at universities in Tehran, accusing them of throwing stones and injuring students who were protesting against January's unrest. Protests were also reported at universities in Mashhad, according to videos shared by HRANA, which said security force intervention led to injuries. Videos circulating online on Saturday appeared to show protesters at Sharif University of Technology chanting slogans against Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, calling him a murderous leader, and voicing support for Reza Pahlavi, the exiled son of Iran's last Shah.